What's up guys, it's me Packy from the house, and I'm here to explain how you can stop missing spares and how you can shoot spares like a PBA professional. So I have 3 tips and tricks for you guys, and I mean while you're at it, you guys might as well comment down below some tips and tricks you guys use to make spares, or maybe a trick that you picked up along the way to make one more spare a game and increase your average just a little bit, because it is the easiest way to increase your average. All right, so the first tip number 1 for us is number 1, get a spare ball. So a lot of people have 1 ball they bring into league, or 2 or 3, or even 3 balls they bring to league, and they forget about the most important and the least expensive ball. This is mine. It's a Brunswick Crown Jewel. It goes super straight, so even if I do hook it a little bit with my hand, it still goes straight on the lane, and it makes it easier to make that 7-pin or that 10-pin. So let's check out my spare ball, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking. So I'll even rotate the first 3 of them to show you guys that it hooks only just a little bit, and then I'll throw the next 3 straight up the back to show you guys that a spare ball is the easiest way to get your ball to go a little straighter and make it easier to make those corner pins. All right, so tip number 2 for you guys is to shoot your spares across the lane. So we got the spare ball, it doesn't hook. Even when I gave it a little hook with my hand, it might have hooked 1-2 boards at most, and I have a huge rev rate. So tip number 2 is gonna be to shoot your spares across the lane. And shooting your spares across the lane, I use 23 as my target point to shoot them across the lane, and it gives me the most amount of room. So if I miss a little left, my ball's not gonna go right in the gutter on a 7-pin, and if I miss a little right, my ball's not gonna go right in the gutter on a 10-pin. So it gives me a little room. I'll show you guys a couple 7-pins, a couple 10-pins, and then I'll give you guys another quick tip about the 3-6-10 and 2-4-7 for you lefties as I get to shooting some multi-pin spares. All right, so now that I shot the 7-pins, I shot the 10-pins, my tip for the 2-4-7 is also to shoot it across the lane, but there's a different reason why. So now instead of giving myself the most room to not throw it in the gutter, or to give myself the most area to hit that pin, I want to kind of stack the pins on top of each other. So the 2 on top of the 4 on top of the 7. That way if I miss a little to the right, or if I miss a little to the left, I can still hit that 2-pin and give myself a good chance to make it. Or for you righties, give myself a good chance to hit that 3-pin and a really good chance to make it even when I miss a little bit. So let's shoot that 2-4-7, or for you righties, the 3-6-10 twice, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. All right, so now that I shot those spares across the lane, as you guys saw, I have tip number 3 for you guys, and tip number 3 is going to be to try and shoot your spares without hooking it. So a lot of you guys have this really strong hand position at the bottom where you try and hook it a lot, and your spares might hook away from that 7-pin, or if you're a righty, hook away from that 10-pin back towards the middle of the lane. And my tip to you is, even though you have a spare ball, the key is to get your hand a little more up the back or weaken that hand position at the start. For two-handers, it's really about getting your hand up the back, and really not trying to come around the side of your spare ball. I'll show you guys some examples here, some slow-mos coming in of how I shoot my 7-pin and how you guys can shoot your 7 or 10-pin without hooking your ball, getting your hand up the back, not only at the foul line, but also in the starting position. So here we go, let's get to it and I'll show you guys how I do it. So guys, as we finish up here, I got 2 games, 2 bonus games. Those are my tips to shooting spares, and I got 2 bonus games. I'm gonna use them. One of them is complete the cycle. It's a game we played at Wichita State. You have to start off and make all of these consecutively. You have to make a 7-pin without touching the 2-pin, a 10-pin without touching the 3-pin. You have to make a 2-4-7, then a 3-6-10, and then you have to make a washout to complete the cycle. So that's my first bonus game, and I'll get back to you guys after I do that with my second bonus game. All right, 7-pin without touching the 2. Check. Once again, for the second shot of the game, I gotta shoot the 10-pin without touching the 3-pin. Rode the pine. All the way down the edge. All right, so next up for shot number 3, I gotta make the 2-4-7 without touching the head pin. Here we go. Three down, 2 to go. So for shot number 4, I don't need a reset because the head pin and the 3-pin are still there. I have to touch the 3-pin without hitting the head pin. Essentially, this is kind of like shooting a 3-7 almost.
Then all of a sudden you see them like playing around.
4 down, 1 to go. All right, so for the very last shot of the game, the final one, this is for 5 in a row, I have to make a washout. So I have to essentially hit the right side of the head pin, thin enough where I think I would make a washout. That is a textbook washout. All right, so that was 5 spares in a row. That was the game I like to call, or the guys at Wichita call, completing the cycle. I shot a 7-pin without touching the 2, a 10-pin without touching the 3, a 2-4-7 without touching the head pin, a 3-6-10 without touching the head pin as well, and then the final shot, a washout, so hitting the right side, or for you righties, the left side of the head pin. It's a great way for me to end spare practice, or bonus game number 2 that I like to end my spare practice on, which is leave the head pin. The only rules are you can't touch the head pin, and you have 2 shots to leave it all by itself. So here we go. Let's see how many tries it takes me. All right, 2-4-7, first up. All right, not an easy second ball here. I left a few too many pins on the deck here for it to be an easy one. I probably should just be able to hit the right side of the 3-pin here and be good. See what I can do. took me 1 try. Usually that game takes me about half an hour, but today, 1 try. So that's the other bonus game that I have, which is leaving the head pin all by itself. Again, the rules are you can't touch the head pin and you have 2 shots to leave it all by itself. So you gotta clear every single pin off the deck except the one in front. All right, so for all of you out there, again, thank you for watching this video. I hope my spare tips help you guys, and I hope it helps you increase your average by that 10, 20, or 30 pins of gear by either 1, going out and getting a spare ball, 2, shooting them just a little straighter, you know, getting that hand up the back, or 3, shooting them across the lane, you know, whether you use 20, 25, 15, whatever it is you use, taking a little bit bigger of an angle across the lane to give yourself a little more room to make not only the 7 pin or the 10 pin, but also to make a spare like a 3-6-10 or a 2-4-7. Thank you guys, and comment down below if any of these tips help you, or maybe a strategy that you guys use to make spares that I didn't cover today. So thanks again, thanks for watching, and until the next one, peace.